Alarming new video showing how far smugglers will go to get migrants across the United States southern border. A Border Patrol surveillance camera recorded smugglers climbing a 14-foot barrier in New Mexico and literally dropping two small children over the barrier to the ground. While child smuggling isn't uncommon, what you are seeing here is, at least for now, agents rescued the children. One is a 5-year-old. The other is 3 years old. Customs and Border Patrol say a lack of space, COVID-19 protocols, and legal requirements mean some asylum seekers are now being transported to rural communities after their stop near the border. Lilia Luciano visited one of those small towns in Arizona to see how people there are responding.
After being picked up by Border Patrol a few miles away, families like this one are now on the next stop in their journey to Asylum.
We're in Ajo. This is a tiny town in the middle of the desert. These Border Patrol vans just arrived. They're dropping off a group of asylum seekers, mostly family units.
Nearly 300 people have arrived in this small town of about 4,000 in the last week and a half.
This is the first time it's happened in this community.
Aaron Cooper runs the International Sonoran Desert Alliance, a community group that functions like a local government.
This is the middle of the desert. Why here?
There's a substation 10 miles south of here. And so anyone who's apprehended in that area of responsibility, they are being instructed to take them to the nearest population center, which in this case is being interpreted as Ajo.
Asylum seekers are given a notice to appear in immigration court, and in the past, Border Patrol would take them to Tucson. Now they say they don't have the legal authority to do so. The small town with little resources mobilized to handle the influx of asylum seekers coming their way.
Were you guys even ready for this?
This is not the first time we've had to come together as a community to solve a unique problem that hit suddenly.
Ever since I was born, it's the first thing you're taught. Take water in the desert, help other people.
82-year-old Jose Castillo says the Ajo volunteers who usually leave water for migrants in the deadly desert are now shifting gears to help these asylum seekers along their journey. Volunteers provide food and water and test asylum seekers for COVID, separating out positive cases. The county then uses these vans to transport them to Tucson, where there's housing and other available resources. Jose Andres from Venezuela arrived at this shelter in Tucson.
I look in future, a better future.
Back in Ajo, Cooper says he's already seeing volunteer fatigue.
So when we went from 1 drop a day to oftentimes 2 drops a day, very quickly we had volunteer burnout. And it turned from I'm willing to come and pitch in for a few hours to this is a full-time job.
Something that really stood out to me is most of the people arriving here. I talked to a mom from Venezuela who says they have no idea where they are. In fact, the volunteers set up a map on the wall to point where Ajo is and where they will go next and how to get there. But it's important to point out, although hundreds of people have arrived here and other small towns in the desert, the vast majority of people who are apprehended at the border, according to Border Patrol, almost 90% of people are returned immediately. Gayle?
I hear that, but that speaks to the desperation. Don't even know where you are, just want to be there. It's better where you're coming from. Thank you very much, Lilia.